are listening to the Balancing Act podcast. Here's your hosts, Jamie Wonko and Joe Vitale.
Okay, so guess what? We're officially recording.
Ooh.
Spooky. It's so spooky. Hey, it's
Halloween.
everyone. Halloween, Balancing Act podcast listeners, welcome back. It is so great to have you with us. This is our second annual anniversary of the first
Halloween Spooktacular.
Halloween Spooktacular. I have a costume on. If you're watching on the YouTubes, I'm trying to get my co-host Jamie Wonko. Hi, Jamie Wonko.
What up, Joe Vitale?
There's, what isn't up right now? So many things are happening. So you got
Everything is going wild.
You got a little hat thing going on there. We got a little thing.
I'm feeling witchy, bewitching.
You're feeling witchy?
So, that's where we're going with this.
And while we are talking, I'm gonna grab a charger while we're talking here because I do need to grab that out of my bag.
So you are a cheesy.
I am not. So I have a mustache.
Okay.
And so we need to figure out what I am. This was
is that
my
bread?
It is bread, but it's a special. It's
toast.
It's toast. So we're close.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. What kind of toast might I be? Did you just figure it out? French toast, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you French? Yeah, French toast. I got it.
That's right. You are correct.
That's a nod to the AI Claude.
That's
bonjour.
You know what? It wasn't, but it is, and I don't think that my mustache is going to stay on. So
I hope it falls. I hope it does vary. I hope it has different stages of staying.
Yes, I also hope so. And I don't even have the charger that I need. Oh, so anyway, so I am French toast. This is my backup costume. I'm very upset because I was going to order my costume and then I waited too long and I went to order it. And I feel my costume for me, because of my personality, would have been epic. And I was going to be the Australian breakdancer Ray Gunn. Which I was greatly looking forward to because I am a big fan of all things Ray Gunn.
I think you can make it.
I think I could.
Hit up the Walmart and look for some, a cheap tracksuit, and then you can we could sew on the things.
Yeah, but I also could print out toast and put it on a shirt and wear a very bad fake handlebar mustache.
Is that pictures of toast?
It is pictures of toast that I
Wow,
printed
it looks so realistic.
I mean, it does.
I thought it was pieces of...
I think I might have to expand on this costume for the day of school. So I am going to take off my mustache because it is going to keep falling. But okay. I'll have to say I must ask you a few questions later. So I'm very bummed that I was not able to be. And my daughter was also going to be the Australian breakdancer because it's an introvert's greatest thing, because you could go out on the dance floor and you could pretty much do anything and pass it off as a breakdancing move. Because if you know the story of Ray Gunn from the Olympics, it was she's not good at breakdancing, but she's the Australian champion. And it turns out that she is a professor of dance in Australia. There's so many things, so many levels.
Wow, is that true?
Absolutely true. There's so many nuanced things. And shout out to my coworker who I don't think listens to the podcast, but Laura, who I have sent a bajillion different memes and videos of Ray Gunn dancing on the ground and being, what your food sees when you look in the microwave, and it's the food going back.
How come she doesn't listen?
I don't know. She might be busy. But you should listen. I adore your little hat.
You're never too busy for the Balancing Act podcast.
You are never too busy for the Balancing Act podcast. So here we are.
She's very nice. She doesn't have to listen, but everyone, you should.
You should. We appreciate you listening. Nod to our sign off.
We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you enjoying our our attempt at costumes. Last year I had multiple costumes. So
there were multiple costumes last year.
Yeah, I'll have to link both episodes next week for.
I actually heard. I heard something very interesting.
Yes.
Today on the radio, as a matter of fact, and it was specifically regarding Christmas decorating, because I know you are an early Christmaser. Okay, and apparently there is research out there that says that decorating early for a holiday. I'm not trying to poo-poo your idea. Do whatever brings you joy. I know I bust chops, but I really think it's important. If you're, are you closing your eyes and meditating on me? What are you doing right there?
Who,
Oh,
me?
I thought I lost you for a
I'm
second.
just ignoring you because I don't care what you're gonna say. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding. My mind was like, and prepare to ignore because we don't care. But go ahead. Yes.
so
Uh-huh.
as I was saying, and I
Mm-hmm.
know you're an early Christmas decorator, which, by the way, good for you. If it brings you joy, I'm a big believer in doing it. I know I bust your chops, but if decorating early brings you joy, if a lazy Susan brings you joy, whatever brings you joy, okay, it should
Yes.
be what brings you joy. But
Okay.
apparently, there was this study that was done that decorating early for a holiday has a negative effect on your mental health because you are then chasing the endorphin of the holiday for too long, which puts you in a bad mental mindset. So when the holiday is over, it's more difficult for you to bounce back when the holiday is over. I found that very interesting. It literally was on the radio today while I was driving around town. Um,
Like any data, you can find some that suits you and some that
that would be data for the layman's
right.
data.
I
Um,
have, I'm elevated, so I say data, and it right. So usually it's like, oh yeah, it can make you happier. I do have to say, I understand how people feel about going into the store, and or as Jason says, the stores. I'm going. Where are you going? I'm going to the stores. He never says which stores. He just says the stores. And
got it.
and it's like, okay, Halloween is gone. It hasn't even happened yet, and it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I understand, like, that causes a like, I don't like that myself. It is very, like, panic inducing. Um, I like to have, like, fall vibes by, like, mid-September, like how Oktoberfest is in Germany. It's, like, from September 15th to October 15th. Like, and we have fall decorations up in the house until November 1st, and then sometime in the beginning, to mid-November, we like to decorate for the holiday, for Christmas time. However, I don't, you know, like, no one has to come to my house, so it's not like I'm affecting, like, a great large number of
Yeah.
people by what
I
I
see
do
that.
privately.
Yes.
Also, it's like the people who decorate for Christmas, December 25th, and then don't take their stuff down until July, you know.
I get it.
But yeah, no, I mean, we started doing the early decorating because it suited our schedule so well,
Yeah,
and then it was
that was actually gonna be my next comment
yes, because
because of
we
where
had
we
off
live and
for
where we
teachers
are.
convention, right? And so we started doing that. I was always a day after Thanksgiving person. Like growing
Yeah.
up, I was a day after Thanksgiving person, but and then until we moved to this house. So we've been doing this for 16 years. And I have to say, I 0% care how other people perceive it. But I mean, does it make me more sad? Not really, because then in January, we always decorate for January. And we always have little winter snowmen and snowflakes, and we have a whole vibe of that, and it's like very glowy, and we have like white lights, and we kind of keep that going, and then we swing into Valentine's Day, and I just enjoy decorating for the holidays in general. So I would say probably the winter season lasts maybe 2 weeks longer here than it would in another house. But, I kind of feel like whatever goes for people,
Yeah. I mean,
you do
I
you,
wanna
baby boo.
last year, I was waiting because my wife was away, with my daughter on Thanksgiving weekend. They went on, like, a little Sweet 16 trip,
Oh,
um,
France.
for my daughter. They went to France, French
Yes.
toast, not the French toast.
Yes.
Um, so I waited. I was like, "Oh, we'll decorate the tree. We'll do the stuff." I got the stuff done out of the attic, and we all know how I deal with the attic because I mess
Ooh.
everything up and I get yelled at.
Ooh.
Um, ooh, spooky attic.
The attic.
So yeah, I mean, we pulled everything down, and I wanted to get everything decorated, when they got back, and then we waited and we got to the following weekend. I think my daughter had like a soccer thing going on. So we didn't decorate until later. I really like just having the tree up, sitting in the living room, watching I enjoy that part of the holiday season. Um,
Hmm.
but I mean, this year I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let's get the Halloween stuff down. And then hopefully like before Thanksgiving, put everything up and
And
really
Thanksgiving
relax.
is
And
especially late this year.
yes, it
It's
is.
exceptionally late this year. It's only
Yeah. And
3
that's one
weeks
of,
in between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, and that's one of the other reasons where I'm like, let's get the stuff up. But here we are. See, here we are talking about Christmas, and we haven't even
Yeah.
given Halloween its due. As we sit here on our Balancing Act podcast today.
Piece of hair is very weird.
I know last
Um,
year we talked. Sorry, go ahead.
Last year we talked about
Last year we talked about some of our favorite Halloween memories, and you talked about your costume. Who did you dress up as? And your sister was like, "No, that time you dressed up as blah blah blah."
oh my goodness,
What was
I
that?
was Diane from Rags to Riches.
Rags to riches. Yes.
That 80s classic. But you know what? Something I wanted to actually, talk to you about was
Yes.
something that had happened, I believe, last year after we had recorded our Halloween episode.
Okay.
And it actually was a New York Times article about
Oh.
not celebrating Halloween in schools.
Okay.
And there was a town in New Jersey where we're from that decided not to have Halloween in school. And part of the reason was that they were, they felt that their staff and students' families were, and I quote, overwhelmingly in favor of discontinuing Halloween celebrations in school. And they were trying to build equity, foster inclusion, and build a sense of belonging throughout the school. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but our Governor Murphy, he weighed in and said, seriously, we can't let kids celebrate Halloween? Give me a break.
Yeah, I think I remember. I think we might have mentioned that on the
Yeah.
podcast, but I don't think we went too deep into it because it was
Yeah.
definitely
It was after this, like this whole kind of back and forth happened, I think maybe a little bit after, but either way, I wanted to, kind of mention it again because I think most of the responsibility, especially for Halloween in school, does not fall on middle school or high school, but elementary school
yeah.
teachers. And, when you were a kid, did you show up in your costume or did you change at lunchtime?
I got to be honest. It's a little fuzzy. I think we changed at
Huh.
lunchtime and went back.
Okay. Like, did you
But
go home, change, and come back?
I believe we did. But I also
Okay.
think I for some reason I think that stopped while I was in elementary school. I think we did it like third and fourth grade, and then like by
Okay.
fifth grade they were like, "No, we're not going
Uh,
home and changing anymore, and you had to bring your costume in."
yeah.
Um, So and I was the 80s stalwarts, right? I remember there was this very famous Star Wars action figure carrying case, and it was like Darth Vader's like shoulders and head. It was like very
We
famous one.
have that.
Yes, I know you do. My
Yeah.
dad decided because it was like the 80s. We are like, oh, let's use that as like a Halloween mask, and he
Oh,
cut it.
that's
And he made
right.
it, and he made it. And like now, if we would have had that, it would be like a bajillion dollars. Because we had every
But
Star
doesn't
Wars
it have
toy.
to be like mint in box to be
Yes,
worth
of
anything?
course,
Oh,
it
okay. Yeah.
does.
No,
But like,
ours
it's
is
still
very
like
well loved. Yeah.
yeah. But we had
And played
that.
with. Yeah.
Yeah, and all the other like that was funny. And one year I think I was Optimus Prime that my dad made out of like
That's cool.
cardboard and spray painted, which actually was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I remember that one. I got to find those pictures one of these years.
I guess maybe I should figure out an actual costume to wear. I don't, but yeah, so I was actually thinking about trunk or treat today because,
Oh,
it's something that I no longer have to stress about. So, I'm going to talk about things that are stressful and things that are not stressful. I had extreme amounts of stress about trunk or treat.
yeah.
And preparing for trunk or treat, running trunk or treat, decorating my car for trunk or treat, theming my children's costumes to the trunk or treat, and so it was like, it was a big deal for a lot of years. It was, expensive, and but we were driving today to go to the library, and there was a trunk or treat happening at a school near us. And my first thought,
Already. Oh, well, not already.
I mean,
It's 2 weeks out. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. No, it's
they've
next
been
week.
it's
As
next
a
week,
matter of
and
fact. Yeah.
they've been having them left and right, and I kind of thought like, oh, for like a split second, and then I was like, ah. Like, I
I
was
get
so
it.
happy.
Well, no, I mean, I think
Also, it's like, who needs that much candy?
at the elementary school level, it's supposed to be fun, right? It's supposed to be fun. It's a day to like take a little bit of a break, and you do the Halloween parade, and you do the the little class party. And I think that's adorable, and it's fun, and it should happen because for God's sake, it's elementary school. Like, I have great memories of that. I have great memories after school right away, like getting home and
Going out
going immediately to like trick or treat, or like the one year the Halloween was on a Saturday, we're gonna trick or treat for hours, we're gonna go out
the
forever.
whole day.
And you went out for like the whole day, and you walked around and like traded candy. And even like, look, our kids are 16 and they like to go trick or treating. Like, they enjoy Halloween, they enjoy dressing up, they want to do something, and that's adorable and it's fun.
Except
um
that when you think about how much candy you got when you were a child, right?
mhm.
Even a Saturday, you had, probably a pillowcase, or, maybe like a little reflective bag or something like that, right? And you filled it up.
McDonald's
Um,
pumpkin.
yes.
McDonald's
Um,
pumpkin. Yeah.
when you trunk or treat and you trick or treat and you do all the things, the amount of candy, it's like,
Yes.
it's obscene. It is. I mean, like, we've actually um, m- weighed it, and it's like 30 pounds of candy,
Yeah.
like, per child.
Well, but it's like you also
We
were
donate it, but
in the
I'm just
yeah.
saying,
And you also, I mean, your children have allergy issues where a lot of the things that they get, they can't eat.
right? But who needs 30
No,
pounds of
a hundred,
candy?
100%. I'm not
But
trying to
don't. But
justify. Yeah.
I want to say, like, especially, and we've said this before, like, you're a super involved dad, but a lot of these things fall fall on the mom.
Come on, Jason
And
was your husband was very involved in the truck or treat.
he did. He came, he told
Do I
people
have
where
to
to
wear sleeves?
park.
Do I have to
He
wear sleeves? No.
Right.
Um,
He wouldn't wear sleeves, but he would number the spots. He was always, because we didn't just go and have a car, we ran it.
yeah.
So he always had some level of involvement. But what I don't mean just the trunk or treat. I just mean, like, generationally speaking, when we compare, like, our parents, right, to their responsibility of what was expected of them
Yeah.
to what is expected of us.
Hmm.
The reason that we have words like self-care and, like, mentally compromised, which is like something I've been saying lately about myself. It's like, because it's unrealistic. Like, how many things are people supposed to do? So it's like we have grown this culture of unrealistic expectations, and it's really unfair. So you take something that is pure and sweet and simple, like get a little costume, wear your costume one day, and now we've made it multiple trunk or treats, decorating the car, going around to the houses, how much, it's like the more and more and more and more and more and more. I'm going to tell you, like, that's the scariest thing for me.
And then every organization, does, like, so not every organization, but many organizations do some kind of like, trunk or treat or Halloween extravaganza where you go, or like,
Halloween fun or a dance, and it's like, it's extreme. So even think about, if there was papers or something that your parent had to fill out when we were children, you had one folder
mhm,
and you brought it home and you handed it to them.
the portal. Go in the portal. There's a portal.
The
There's a
right,
portal for everything.
the end, the end. Right. And then your aunt would call and your mom would be on the phone for like 4 hours, like, just chit chatting. Right. And
Yeah.
it's like,
And
what?
the phone cord would be wrapped around the kitchen, right, the kitchen chair.
Yes.
I get it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. My sister would be like up under my mom's nightgown because she was always freezing. Like things like that. Always. That's so hashtag true. But it's like, what like so how are we, so I can see, like, here's this principal who's saying, like, look, like, I just think it's too much for our community. The kids don't seem to be able to afford costumes. And I mean, and the idea of it, like, not being during the school day also is like, well, maybe they're already doing like 5 or 6 other Halloween themed activities in other places.
Yeah.
So I kind of go back and forth. It's like, I think that Halloween should be in school. I think it's wonderful up in elementary school. I think it's great, like K-5. I don't know if I think it's necessary in the middle school as much, but
it is absolutely not necessary in the middle school.
yeah, but I do think it's fun. Like, I always have like themed for that day. So it's like, we're going to do different activities that go with the day, right? And I'm also very big into celebrating all of the holidays. So it's like, I'm ready for Diwali. I'm ready. I have my craft. We're going to make our diyas. We're going to go for it. We're going to do rangoli. So I can appreciate understanding multiple traditions. People might want to, like, Dia de los Muertos and like get into all the things. But it is sort of like, are we overdoing it?
Yeah. No, and now thinking about it from that side, like, okay, if you want to do like the simple costume parade and have the kids wear stuff to school, but like the trunk or treat and this and the PTO, and like, I get it. Everybody wants to have their kids to have these
Oh, and then
amazing
it's like
experiences.
pumpkin painting contest, and then like, and let's vote, and then how many's in the jar, and then also what are some of the other ones? And I think maybe too, when we were children, we dressed up for Halloween.
Mhm.
Tell me any other day in your school year as a kid
Oh
that
my
your
God.
your
There
parent had to get anything from anywhere
there was no
ever.
s- there was
Maybe
no
once a year if you were like in a wax museum and you had to
there
and then
was like
it's like a month to get ready for
the
that.
concept of a spirit week didn't exist. And now it's like there is a spirit week for anti-violence. There's a spirit week for
Week of respect.
week of respect and everything. Everything has
Cowboy Day, and
yeah.
for every single different, it's so cultural heritage. Great. But it's like, and spray the hair, and I need white, and my sneakers are blue, and right. So I feel like what we've done in a way as a society is we've taken like these simplistic childhood events and collectively like overdone it
Mhm.
to the point where, like, now we are going to see some of these things retreating. We are going to see some of these, like, maybe we don't need to do it in school because you're already doing 6 out of the 7 days of the week for something else. And also, if we're talking about data, I want to see how wearing green on a Tuesday makes you more respectful.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Although
It,
the one that we've started at our school this year, which I am a big fan of, and I enjoy it verily. And I'm hoping that it won't go by the wayside because I really like it. We have like a specific theme each Monday that encourages movement for mental health. And that we know is 100% proven to be true,
yeah.
that the more you move, the more you do, the better you feel. And that, obviously, it's like science, right? That we know is true.
Yeah,
um,
I've been trying to approach that as differently as possible.
yeah.
Listen, and if there's other people that listen to the podcast that I work with, I know how I'm going to sound. But I originally started when it was Movement Monday. I was like, "Can we go outside and go for a walk?" And my boss was like, "Sure, you can go outside and go for a
Yes.
walk." And now a lot of other classes kind of saw that happening. So I'm not saying I'm a trendsetter, but like I asked, and then we were going, and then other people were like, "We'll go out and do a walk." And some of those kids are not
Mhm.
doing things. I don't want to say they're doing it the wrong way, but like, kids aren't really like they're not really walking. They're picking up rocks off the ground, So we have to like still police those things while we're out there. But I've actually been able to take that time to like check in with kids while we're walking. We do a lap around the building. It takes literally 8 minutes. And we
So
walk around the
nice.
building. Yeah, it's not, and the weather's been very good, so that has
Yes.
also been a big part of why I'm doing it.
Yes.
And then, once the weather gets bad, I'll have to figure out something else. But it's been very nice to like walk. Hey, how was the weekend? Oh, how'd the football game go? You guys had a football game? Oh, what'd you do this weekend? Did you do anything fun? Did you get outside and touch some grass? And kids are like, oh yeah, well, I had this on
Conversation in
Sunday.
motion is really so terrific.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
they
really
just
good.
kinda come to it more easily, for
And
sure.
I talked to everybody. There was this one girl who is in a different school now, but I would walk with her. Sometimes she'd be having like a crappy day, and I would just ask her like these ridiculous questions. I'd be like, if you and this was exactly how the interaction went. I was like, if you can have any non-traditional animal as a pet, what would you want to have? Axolotl. I was like, what? A what? A, an axolotl. I was like, what is an axolotl? So, they're not supposed to have the devices on them. I pull out my phone and I'm like, what is it? Tell me how to spell this. And we're talking to her.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. And she's like telling me what it is. And then it does this and then it does that. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Have you, are you into that? She's like, yeah, I'm kind of into those kind of animals and blah, blah. Like we had like this little 5-minute conversation. And then at that moment, when we got back into the class, she wasn't having a crappy day anymore, just because I
Yeah.
think she forgot that she was having a crappy day.
Yeah.
You
Because
know what I mean? Like
movement works.
yeah, movement works, but also like it's a distraction for those kids to be able to like, I had a conversation with one young man. He's like, oh, I gotta talk to my football coach because like my grades weren't really good last year and he wants to see my report card. And I was like, okay, well, how are you gonna I said, let's role play this conversation. Let's say I'm your coach. What would you say? And he said this. And I said, well, you might want to say this in response. I said, we had a little honest conversation. I said, no, look, man, if you're gonna like own it, if things didn't go the way that you wanted them to go last year, number one, it's last year. Be honest about it and say, like, look, that was me last year. This year, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on myself. Like, my grades are going to get better. I'm going to try harder. Like, and now you have to actually put it into practice. So, like, he was like, yeah, okay, I think that's good. And then, like, the following week, I caught up with him. I was like, hey, how'd the conversation go? He's like, well, it was uncomfortable, but like, he kind of saw where I was coming from. And like, some of the stuff we talked about, like, the role playing we did actually kind of helped. So, like, it's good to like, have those conversations like with the kids just as humans
Yes.
because we're all humans. Like we all have crappy days.
Not me. I'm a witch.
Yes, you are a witch.
So an axolotl, I typed
Oh yeah,
in
sorry.
axolotl.
Yeah.
That's not at all how it's spelled, but
Yes.
it came up anyway. They are great pets. They are cute little amphibians and they will grow to 30 centimeters long. I don't live in another country, so I don't know what that means in inches. And generally live 10 to 12 years in captivity. Wow, 10-year commitment. But they're kind of like so ugly, they're cute.
I got it.
Oh, and how expensive are they? About $80.
Oh, only $80. Okay,
Only
I'll
80
take
only
3
80
of them.
bucks. I know. I love the kids
Um,
always say like 30K. They love to
but
say K
that's the
instead
thing
of
too.
thousand.
Like I don't think that like anybody's asking the kids like, let's do a spirit week, and like that it's not moving the needle. And a lot of our kids really don't participate in it because they're like me.
Well, I just think it might be especially where we are in middle school, it's different. So it's a mixed bag. But in the elementary school experience, it falls on the parent. So because no
Yeah.
6-year-old is, dyeing their own shirt or finding, whether or not they have tie dye. So it's like another day on the calendar, another item to keep up with. And as much as I enjoyed it, or my kids, like it's the 100th day of school and let's be 100 years old. And I mean, I was like fully in, like my kids loved that.
Yeah.
But it was after a while, I didn't, I don't know. It's like, maybe it's one of those things that you kind of like, it got you ready to be done. It's like, we loved elementary school, but like, we're ready to be done. And for me, it was like, I'm ready to be done. So I don't have to spray paint your, face and hair on a random day in March or whatever it might be,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. So sometimes I wonder, like, do we have these sort of mixed bag feelings because it's not as pure, and you don't wait the 12 months to watch the Great Pumpkin and sit around at the 8 p.m. special, and everyone else in your class is watching it, and you know that it's the only time of the year that's going to be available, and then you get so excited and you're ready for your parade, and your teacher holds up the sign, and you walk around the building. And then you go inside and you have a cupcake and
Yes.
a juice box
Yeah.
and you're done,
Yeah.
right? I mean, now class parties, it's like, what's the craft? What's the game? What are we eating?
Yeah.
As like the former class parent for many years, it was like, people had like wagons. Moms had wagons like filled with all of the stuff for the party. I mean, they were really elaborate, amazing events.
I
But
wonder. I wonder
you know,
what I honestly wonder what the parental pushback was at that particular school that
Yeah.
decided to take a step back. I
Yeah, and
wonder.
it sounds as if, like from what I was reading, it sounds as if, financially it could have been, could have been an issue. I read something in our, like one of the township pages the other day, and someone had asked, hey, I have a neighbor, and my neighbor's children go trick or treating, but our neighbors don't ever give out candy.
Yeah.
And I was like, but then go to the next house,
Yeah. Like
you know?
there were years
Especially just
that
like you don't have enough people to staff your house. If you're gonna take your own kids out, you can't just leave someone behind, right?
exactly. And we used to we had a lot of fun on Halloween. Like when we moved back to this area, and I talked about this last year, my very good friend that lives in the town that we live in as well. I used to
In
trick
the
or treat
good
with him.
neighborhood.
Yeah. I used to trick or treat with him, and his sister when we were kids. So now it was like we were out with all of our kids, and we were walking around the neighborhood. And we'd go back, we'd all order pizza, and all the kids would hang out and walk around with a wagon. Everybody have some drinks, and it was really, really, really like we looked forward to that every year.
Yeah.
And it was I wasn't of the thinking of, you know what, I'm gonna stay home and give out candy while my wife goes out with the kids. I'm not doing that. And I
No.
realize how that sounds, but I want to be there too. I want to be there walking around with the kids and telling them not to run on people's grass and be like, "Did you say thank you?" And yell at people. Um, you know, I want to be that. I want to be that parent. But now, like last year, my wife actually had some work to do, and I was sitting out front. I took our fire pit that we have, like a little propane one, and I wheeled it around to the front on a dolly, and I stood up. I sat out front with the fire pit on and gave out candy to kids when they came up. And so many parents were like, "That's a great idea. That looks awesome." Like I was like, it wasn't anything special, but you know what? If I'm going to
Yeah.
be out there, I'm going to light the fire pit. I'm going to hang out, and I don't mind sitting on the step, giving out candy, maybe having an adult beverage while I do so,
Mhm.
and enjoying the time being in the neighborhood now that I know that my kids are out on their own doing their own thing.
Right,
Um,
and that's kind of like the great part, like, you have little kids and you have a different experience, and then as your kids get older, now you're able to kind of observe in a
yeah.
different
So
way and participate in a different way, so I felt like,
just to go back to
um
that story, right? So they're saying that the make sure I have it right in my head. The kids, the neighbors' kids go out and trick or treat with their
yes,
parents, but there's no one there to give out candy. And that's what the
right.
person's complaining about.
They don't give out candy, right, and it was like, God, I wouldn't even know that, right, I think I said this, my street is a lame street, so to me, like, find a different street.
Yeah.
Some neighborhoods are really hopping when it comes to the candy distribution.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I love your fire pit idea. I had a couple of years ago, and I don't know if it was like necessarily COVID, but it must have been like sort of COVID related. But the person had like this giant PVC pipe, and they were on their porch, and they like when the kids approached, they would like shoot the candy down the PVC pipe to like the end of their driveway.
There was one guy in the
That was
neighborhood.
awesome.
There was one guy in the neighborhood that we used to do, and he was a bartender for hire. So he would make two different kinds of drinks when you went to
Oh.
the house, and he also he had food. He had he had like one year he did like chili dogs, and next year he did like baked ziti. You get like a little plate of baked ziti, and he would make a drink.
Oh,
And then one of the
that's
guys that we
cute.
walked around with, Martin, shout out Martin, we did reverse trick or treating, where he had a jug that he made of a shot that he made, like a juice junk, like a punch thing or whatever.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Hey, you want a shot?" And some of the parents were like, "What? Sure, yeah, let's do this." So it was so fun to you're giving out candy to the kids, but then the adult is like, "Here, take a shot," and they're like passing it back to people. It was fun. I know it sounds like we're all lushes walking around the neighborhood, but it was just a nice community, do something fun kind of atmosphere
Yeah.
that I really enjoyed. And I, that's something that I always enjoy the holiday, and enjoyed doing it when my kids were little, and I still do. I enjoy that my daughter wants to dress up and go out with her friends and do a group costume or whatever it is. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
even the
paint
even though
pumpkins.
even though yep, she did that on this past weekend. A little
Yeah.
pumpkin carving thing. I had to take her to the store and make her pick a pumpkin out, hold it up. Like, it's giving pumpkin to talk about. Shout out Trey Kennedy, Girls Will Fall Be Like. So yeah.
I have a student this year who loves to say it's giving, and of course, like I think it's funny, and so
She loves to say, you broke up there for a second. She loves to say what?
Oh, I have a student. It's a boy, and he likes to say it's giving.
It's
Right, like
it's giving blah
it's
blah blah
giving,
vibes.
yes, it's giving
Yeah.
whatever. And today we were talking about flax and how clothing was made in ancient Egypt out of flax. And so we talked about clothing for today and rayon and, different types of fabrics that are, synthetic. And what does that look like and what is flax? So I showed a picture and he said, it's giving no.
That is great. Oh man, it's
So I
giving
just,
no.
it's giving no. So when you said that, it was like, yep, it's
That is
giving fall,
that.
it's giving Halloween, but it's giving no.
Yeah, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
We don't go super overboard with like a bazillion inflatables on the lawn or anything like that. We do a little bit of
Yeah.
decorating inside. We don't really do anything outside.
You know what I like
Um,
to do? I like to take my kids to Home Depot and just let them look at the decorations. Just look,
Jamie,
you guys. Just look.
yeah, that's like your little, instead of going to like look at Christmas lights, you just bring them to Home Depot and be
Well,
like,
I mean, for Halloween.
yeah,
Just go and just look. I mean, they have some really
yeah,
amazing. I may have like a giant Frankenstein, and they move and they talk, and and you can step on. They have that button on the floor, and you just step on it, and then do all different things. Like, just enjoy, kids. And we always did like like the pumpkin patch, and what do you do when you go to a pumpkin
oh, the
patch?
corn maze,
The
thing.
corn maze, and and go on the hay ride and like
Yep.
all the things. But what I will say is like this fall has been so warm.
Yes.
And so that I have like, it's like, oh, it's so my one girlfriend has a daughter much younger than our kids. And she, she's doing some of the more like younger sort of child fall things you can do, like maybe, before your kids are already then involved in like activities that take up your whole weekend. Not that I couldn't have gone, but I could. But anyway, so they did like the whole day, and it was like 85 degrees.
Yeah.
To me, like to be like maximizing the fall atmosphere, it's really nice if there's just
Yeah.
a slight chill in the air. One of those days where you're like, oh, do I bring a sweatshirt? And you can kind of take your sweatshirt off, put it on, but you're not in shorts and a t-shirt
Gotcha.
at the pumpkin patch with and the flies are everywhere.
Yeah, we're literally doing shorts and a t-shirt right now. Like that's the kind of weather that we're talking about in the area
83
that we're in.
degrees.
Yeah, 83.
83 degrees.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's even when we lived in Pennsylvania when the kids were little and we go out trick or treating, I really liked what they did in the town where we were, out in Easton, Pennsylvania, where we would do our trick or treating. What I really enjoyed about it was like they would do, okay, here's trick or treating. It's on the day. I think there was one day that it was the 30th and not the 31st. I can't remember why, but what they did was they said was like, look, if you're gonna give out candy, put your porch light on.
Yes.
If your porch light is off, no candy. Okay, that means if you don't want people coming to your house, or if you ran out, close the door. Okay,
Yes.
turn off
Yes.
the light. Second, what I really liked that they did, which I thought was excellent, was the police and firefighters were out in their vehicles with the lights on, not blaring sirens or anything, but they would come around the neighborhood and kids would go up to the car and the police officers and the fire people would like, talk to the kids and be like, oh, look, your costume is so awesome. And then like have a conversation, like really creating a relationship with people in the community, which I thought was really awesome. I thought that was really fun. That they did that. And it was like 4 to 8. That's it.
Yeah.
8 o'clock, done. Like
We
that
have
was
a
it.
pretty strict curfew here for Halloween for trick or
Yeah,
treat.
and it makes sense. But like
And it's
there's,
good.
yeah, it was like that's it. And then we'd go back to somebody's house and we'd order pizza and we'd hang
Yeah.
out. And we did all the like, the Halloween parades and leave for work and go and see your kids
Yes. And
dancing
watch them
around.
walk for 30 seconds
Yeah.
and
But
wave and yeah.
but we're also like we're at a point where we're not at that point anymore. So we can look back at it with some nostalgia, but also look back at it as thank God that we're not doing that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's like part of
Yeah.
you misses it, but then part of you, like you were saying, is like, oh,
Yeah,
thank
Avery and
God.
Bryn are very, very excited for their costumes this year, and I love a partner costume, so I can get on board with. And they've done partner costumes by their of their own choosing for the last few years, and so they're really, really excited. And I liked buying all the parts and the pieces for them. And they're like, Mom, you should dress up for school. I'm like, I know, I'm a gym teacher. They're like, you're always a gym teacher for school.
Yep. And
And you should,
what are they going to be this year? What are they going to be?
Dipper and Maple from Gravity Falls, which
I love
is
it.
a Disney show.
I mean, I
And
should show up because apparently I look like Grunkle Stan.
oh,
So I should
Grunkle. Yeah,
Grunkle
so
Stan.
we accidentally I this must have been me, but on Amazon I ordered 2 of something. And so Bryn was trying to encourage me to join her in the costume. But they'll go themselves or with friends and things like that. So it is not it's not necessarily the same, but I do enjoy handing out candy and seeing the kids' costumes and all of that. And for those of you who are our listeners, our loyal listeners, if you've been following along with my fall kitchen projects,
Oh yes. I mean, this is the update of
the
all
update
updates.
is it's
It's
finished. It's
finished.
giving finished.
It's giving now. So we are finished, which is great. I know
Uh,
you're happy to be back in the kitchen.
I know, and I love cooking. I just love cooking. I know that that is not a popular, thing. I don't like cleaning even a little bit. And I was lost without my dishwasher. I, I really love my dishwash. Dear dishwasher, I love you. But it's prettier and, just lovelier than I ever could have expected. And I'm so pleased. I've been sitting, just looking at it. I don't know. And so I feel so settled and so happy. And so, it actually is black and white. And so it's perfect for Halloween vibes. I put a little Scentsy. We have lots of friends who sell Scentsy. If you know what Scentsy is, it's a wickless candle. So you plug them in, and there's all different shapes and sizes. And I have this little pump. I have many, but the one that I put in my new kitchen is an adorable little pumpkin, and it's orange, and it's just so perfect, and I love it so much. And so anything that adds some fall vibes to your home and your heart is for us.
Yeah, and just don't decorate too early.
Or it's never too early to decorate.
Yeah, there's that too. No. I again, if it makes your heart happy, then do it.
Yeah, if it makes
Absolutely.
you
I mean, I
happy,
have to be dead honest with
it
you.
can't be that
And I have talked about
bad.
this before. When it comes to like the holidays, I really enjoy it, but like it's like, when we get to New Year's, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year. And is it summer yet? Like that's literally like
I know.
my
I
brain
do
immediately
love the
goes,
charm of Valentine's Day. I love the decorations for Valentine's Day. I love the
yes.
idea of, sometimes when you look up, it's like when I was looking up trunk or treat, I was kind of like, how did this even start? Right. I thought that it was, to be safer for kids, not going door to door. But it wasn't. It was to control the types of things children were seeing. So it actually started in churches in the 1990s so that they
Hmm.
could control the type of Halloween, vision that
I
children
wonder
were
I wonder if
witnessing.
I wonder if it was done before that, but maybe in communities where
Mm.
like in the Midwestern portion of the United States where you have like large communities where there's not a lot of people by each
Yes.
other. Like you
It
could
said
bring
like
everybody together.
100%, and you live so
Yeah.
far away, right? But it was traced back to the 1990s, mid 1990s, in and particularly in church parking lots. So they wanted to be able to control what the children were seeing in relation to Halloween and keep it at a certain appropriate or whatever they deemed appropriate. And then it caught on in other places. So it kind of went things always start one way and kind of end up another, but it didn't stop the door-to-door trick-or-treating. It was just another thing.
Another thing. And yeah, so yeah, again, I
Yeah.
think that talking about the rat race and what we deal with is really important. But I don't think it's bad. Like, and just as a like a final comment here, I don't
Yeah.
think like it's not a bad idea to say, you know what, we're gonna do one of those and go out trick or treating. Like, okay, we're gonna do a
Yes.
trunk or treat,
That's
and then
right.
we're not gonna do 6 of them,
No.
like because it just becomes overkill. Who
But I
needs
get
30
it, like,
pounds
when
of
you're
candy?
in that mode and your kids are small and you don't wanna miss anything and you sort of are wrapped up in all of it,
Yeah.
and so I can definitely understand. But, so next week, we're gonna be, looking for all the Almond Joys for Halloween, gobble,
Yeah.
gobble, and
That's
Butterfingers, I like a Snickers,
yo,
I
can I there is it's not in fun size form, but I have only found it at Wawa in New Jersey, but they have a pecan Snickers now, and it is glorious, and I love everything about it.
are
And
you
if you have
saying pecan?
pecan, I don't know whatever it's spelled.
Wait, so
Um,
it's not peanuts, it's
it's
pecans?
yes.
Huh.
Would you be interested in trying that? Because I will bring you some and we will try it.
100%.
Okay, we're doing that.
100%.
But yeah, I'm big on the almond joys. My kids call it old people candy. I was like, almond joys are delicious. That's always been my jam.
Oh, they
So
are delicious.
they are.
Yes.
So as always, friend, I appreciate you very much.
As always, I appreciate you
And
and I appreciate
my mustache.
your French
Oh,
toast.
French toast. My name is Claude. Why am I now Italian? I don't know what's going on. I can't really do
Au
accents.
revoir.
Au revoir, friend. See you soon.
Pee-wee. Bye.
Look for the Balancing Act podcast every week on your favorite podcast platform. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Thank you for being a part of our audience. We appreciate you.